talk about something. I was recording a video, for some reason it wasn't working properly. So I said, let me try the live version and see how this goes. All right. Thank you so much for those that are joining now. Enjoy those that watch later. Appreciate you. You don't have to be on with me, but I don't take it lightly. So thank you. I want to say something. I want to talk about how to win in the face of losing, how to win in the face of loss. It's so easy today that we have access to so much and right at the palm of our hands. And we assume that just as easy as we have access to things like, if, for instance, right now on my phone, or have everything right there for us to just touch, we think that's how easy it is when it comes to the process of transformation and growth. It's like we want microwave success rather than a long-term process. I know the process isn't pretty. In fact, sometimes I wish it was the other way around. I wish we could just have a vision for something and then snap our fingers and it come to pass. I really wish that could happen. But unfortunately, it does not work that way. I believe that I'll be transparent with you, there are times I want God to do it for me. I want him to do it for me. Let me say that again. There are sometimes I want God to do what he already empowered me to do. I want him to do it for me. Why? Because it's easier for someone else to do it for us than it is for us to become the person to do the work. See, the biggest thing about transformation is not so much the doing. Yes, the doing happens. You do the habits and you have results, right? But the biggest part of transformation is the becoming. Once I understood that about the becoming, it helped eliminate my frustration when the outcome doesn't necessarily happen the way I want it to. Okay? I believe that sometimes we have the wrong expectations because so many people get excited about starting, right? But not really how, you know how when you start something and it seems like everybody's there, but you notice the longer it goes, you start to see who really is committed, who's really dedicated, right? And so don't get lost, or don't become weary when you see other people apparently moving ahead of you. It's not necessarily meaning that they could be better than you, but it can mean that they're more committed than you. I've seen people with less talent accomplish much more than someone who's highly gifted, simply because they were willing to go through the losses to get to the victory, while the person who felt like they were entitled to the victory did all they could to avoid the losses. I'll give you an example today. There was a video, or I watched a game, not all the game, but I watched the last part of the game. Talk about winning in the face of losing. I was watching Colorado today. Now I know people want to make fun of them because they don't have a certain record, but I want to bring out something. The young guy named JuJu Lewis, the quarterback. Now he was highly recruited to come to Colorado, right? And I'm sure he could have the attitude of like, I deserve, or I'm entitled to this starting position from the beginning of the year. But he didn't start at the beginning of the year. He actually started today. And what's so funny about it? When they got beat last week so bad, it was a blowout. They bring him into the game. The game is out of hand. But he shows up as if the game is on the line. And he shows up for the opportunity, right? He comes in and he makes a great impactful play, throws a long ball, a long distance touchdown. And when he does that, that kind of gave somewhat of a spark. Though the game was out of reach, the point I'm making is he was ready for his opportunity. He had to go through the challenge to become the person that can step into the moment when the opportunity came. So he won even though they lost. He won a starting position even though they lost. Today he starts. First game he starts. From that little spark and that blowout, from what he did in those few minutes in that blowout, led to him having the opportunity to start. He starts today. Now, it was not a blowout. No, they did not win. But what I appreciate was the effort that they put forth. And in fact, I just watched a video of Coach Prime's son, Deion Sanders Jr., who came out and was very furious, in a sense, disappointed, because it seemed like JuJu Lewis, the one that just got to start today, though they lost, seemed like he was the one that wanted to be out there more than everybody else. Now, there could be some others that wanted to be, but I'm saying when you put your heart and soul into something, even in the midst of loss, you may not feel like getting back up, but you get back up because you know that there's a possibility again that you're going to rise up and you're going to step up and you're going to have another opportunity to win. I think the problem is so many people feel like they're entitled to win. So instead of actually stretching to become, they'd rather wait, sit around and wait for the opportunity to come to them. And that's how many people do God. They're like, God, you do everything and I do nothing. Yeah, but if he does everything and we do nothing, how do we actually grow? Have you ever started anything? You ever started a venture, started something new? And did it go perfect for you the first time? I'm sure it didn't. I'm sure there was some mistakes, right? Absolutely. But the thing is, you kept showing up. And see, while everybody else who got excited in the beginning, but all of a sudden, when things got hard, they dropped off, you stayed around. Now, all of a sudden, they see you're growing and you kept going even when they quit. That says a lot. But what I find is today, not a whole lot of people really want to train or become to endure. They just want to stay long enough to get the benefit and walk away. That's also prevalent in our society today, even as I said in college football. So many players think the grass is green on the other side. I'm not against any players getting what belongs to them. The issue becomes, once you get what belongs to you, once you get the bag, do you forget who you were before the bag? Or do you forget the process that helped you become the person to handle the bag? So how do you win in the face of losing? Let's talk about that for a moment. How do you win in the face of losing? Well, number one, you have to believe in the midst of uncertainty. You got to believe in the midst of uncertainty. When it looks dark, you have to believe that you're still victorious. When it looks like there is no way, you know that there's already a way. When it seems like there's no need to keep going, you still have that drive to keep going because you know something within you won't let you stop. Because you know, if I don't show up, the people that I'm called to can't grow up. So you got to believe in the midst of uncertainty. I'm telling you, things won't change until you change. Things won't change until you see for yourself. In other words, if you allow the external to impact your internal, then you will stay stuck and not see the potential you have on the inside to transform the outside. Yeah, so you got to believe in the midst of uncertainty. You got to believe when you don't even have all the answers. You got to believe when it seems like what you're doing may not be recognizable or noticed by certain people. You got to believe, even in the midst of the chaos, that you are victorious. You're more than a conqueror. This is not a gimmick. This is not a game. This is not a cliche. This is not something we're just saying. This is the truth. And you have to believe that. Otherwise, you'll just be saying things out of mental assent. You'll be saying things out of habit. Or you'll be saying things with no power, no authority. And believe me, I've done that where I've spoken things that sounded good, but I didn't believe it. And here's the thing, belief is not a noun. Tell your neighbor, belief is not a noun. Belief is an action. See, there are going to be some things. Faith is in action. It's going to require you to get up from where you are to grow to where you're designed to be. You're going to have to step out of the boat of comfortability. And sometimes I see you. Look, sometimes I get the news, but there are times I don't even I tune into it. You know why? The reason I do not is because I really understand that there are two ways to my soul, my eyes and my ears. And whatever I'm exposed to repeatedly will pierce past my consciousness and go into my subconscious, where that's where our foundations and our beliefs are. You see, a lot of times we're exposed to things, and because of that exposure repeatedly, even when we're not aware of it or unconscious of it, a stronghold is being built. And the next thing you know, you believe in something, or you created a habit that you were not even aware of. But you got to believe in the midst of uncertainty. Do you believe you're more than? Do you believe in who you are? Do you believe in whose you are? If you don't believe, but you always need validation from other people to believe, you don't know who you are. You don't know your identity, and therefore opinions become more real than truth. So believe in uncertainty. That's number one. I would say number two, of winning in the face of loss. Can you have the same consistent energy even in the midst of loss? Can you have that same enthusiasm? Can you go from no to no and still move in pursuit of that yes? Yeah. I've come to understand this, that I've learned to love no. I've learned to love no. And the reason I've learned to love no is because no helped me redirect my focus from them to him. Let me say that again. No helped me refocus and shift my focus from them, the people, to him. Recently had a no. I asked for some help on something, and in fact, I felt led to ask this person for help, and the old me would have tripped, because I would have been like, man, why did you do that? Why would you lead me? Why would I be led to talk to you? Or why would I be led to a person to help me, thinking that that person's going to help me? But in fact, that person didn't help me the way I thought they would. So the old me would have tripped and been like, you know what, man, forget it. I ain't going to that person. Or they why are they treating me like this? No. Do they know who I am? You see, I would have been like that. But what happened this time, I actually asked for help. I was obedient. But even in asking for the help, and they told me, they didn't say no, but they said the best words that could have helped me. They said, if you're committed as you say you are, you'll find a way. Well, the thing is, I thought I thought them helping me would be the best thing. Them giving me something that I asked for would be the best thing. But the truth of the matter is, all it did was just redirect my focus to what I was supposed to do anyway, what I already had been building. Have any of you ever been in a season of your life where you want to believe something, or you're used to being given something, but now you're being transformed from the inside out to build? Okay, let me bring it home. Let me come down your street. You're used to working to get the money from your employer or from somebody else, or from somebody taking the risk for you. But what is happening is now God is calling you out. He's calling you to build from the blueprint he already gave you on the inside. And now he wants you to create value from the inside. And as you create that value from the inside, it attracts the resource. You see, sometimes a lot of times we're so accustomed to people giving us. We're so accustomed to the old version of us that we cannot receive the new transformed version of us, because the old version feels comfortable. But the newer version is stretching us to really move out from what we've become comfortable with. And we've allowed the comfort to strip us from becoming the person to win and overcome. So winning in the face of loss. I'll say one more thing to that. You have to have the attitude that you're already victorious. You have to have the attitude that you're already victorious. If you don't have the attitude that you're already victorious, you've already lost. Because everything's gonna try to come against you to make you think you're not victorious, but you really are. So I'm coming today to let you know that in the midst of loss, you're still the chosen one. In the midst of loss, why you're made, the reason you are here is not by accident, but on purpose. The fact that you woke up means you have another opportunity to defy the odds. Some people did not get up. Some people are in situations that could be more horrendous than yours, but the fact is you're up. The fact is you have another opportunity right now to win from the inside out, not the outside in. Because when you win from the inside out, again, regardless of what the external looks like, because you're winning from the inside, you're becoming the person that has peace in the midst of the storm. And watch this, you'll stop avoiding the pain or the discomfort of the transformation where you're going. You'll stop avoiding it. I know it feels discomforting to grow, but if you never stretch, how can you ever grow? I'm not giving some motivational talk, though it could sound that way. I'm really just decreeing, like, look, there's much more to you than what you've already experienced and what you've already done. You have won more than you think. There are people watching you even when you don't